Today I'll be talking about a romantic drama called Casablanca, which is directed by Michael Curtiz, which came out in 1942. The film stars Humphrey Bogart and Ingrid Bergman. The film essentially is about a cynical, heartbroken man called Rick, which is played by Humphrey Bogart, and he runs a gin joint in Casablanca and must choose between his love Ilsa or help her new husband, resistance leader, get out of the country so he can continue the fight against the German Nazis. That's a brief summary of the film. I'm going to be going through the film about the parts I like and why this film is so good. So firstly, I do think this film is a 9 out of 10. I have spoken about it briefly before in my last video. This is one of the films, along with, as I said, Vertigo, Titanic, that that really made me love the romance genre. And because of that, it made me want to watch so many other films, not just because it's a romantic genre. I do, because I do love genres like crime, science fiction, action, drama, whatever. But sometimes you have to watch like a nice film like this, just like a nice it's just one of those films that gets you in a good mood when you watch it, and yeah, it's just heartwarming. I find these sort of films. Or it can be sad. The ending of the film obviously is sad if you have watched it. Most of you probably have, because it's a timeless classic. So the film, it starts off with Rick being a cynic and having a grumpy look on his face, owning a nightclub and gambling den, which people like the Nazis and different refugees who want to go to the US go, and also the French attend the club as well. And basically the entire film is about these letters, and what these letters do is they give you like a passage. They basically give you passageway to go from Germany occupied Europe to neutral Portugal, and that's pretty much what the entire that's the broadly that's what the film's about. But obviously that's what the part which people care about. The part people care about is obviously between Elsa and Rick. And funnily enough, even though the Nazis are in it, they're not really, like, they are mentioned and feared obviously in the film, in the ending as well. However, the Nazis aren't really a part of the story, so to say. When you hear about a film that's got the Nazis in it, they're very prominent. They're very the center of attention, center of the story. But in this film, like, I'm sure people wouldn't have cared whether they were Nazis or if they were just normal soldiers. Like, them being Nazis got nothing to do, really. I get it. Like, obviously, as I said, German occupied Europe and all that, and obviously they're in Casablanca. I do understand it, but I just think if it was any other sort of film, they would have been much more terrifying. But this, they just seem very, second rate, second class. No one really cares. But yeah, so Rick's a very grumpy. He's heartbroken. He's just upset all the time. He doesn't look very happy. And when Ilsa comes in, we find out why. And that very misquoted line, which is "play it again, Sam." That line is not said. I don't know why people keep saying. Like, I was speaking to one of my uncles about it, and he said, "Oh," I said that I watched the film, and he mentioned, "Okay, so which, what's the famous line from it?" I named a bunch of lines from the film, and then finally I was like, "Oh wait a minute, what line am I missing? That's so famous." Oh yeah, "Play it again, Sam," and that wasn't even in the film. I don't know where people got that from, because that wasn't the line. The line is actually just "play it, Sam." That is the line. It's not "play it again." Admittedly, "play it again, Sam" does But anyway, I'm not going to go into it fully. But I'm not going on a full rant about that. But yeah, you see Sam, which is one of Rick's friends. He's on the keyboard, he's playing, and the famous song "As Time Goes By" is banned in Rick's. You want to call it a gin joint, you want to call it nightclub, gambling den, whatever you want to call it. It's banned there because it's a song that reminds him of Ilsa. So when he hears it, he comes over angry, shocked that, oh, what are you doing? Why are you playing this song? This song was obviously requested by Ilsa. Ilsa, as I said, loved that song. Rick loved that song, and Rick's, Rick's just shocked to see her there because he thought he'd never see her again. You see her come in with her husband Victor, and he's been sort of like hunted by a German official, and they're basically there because they need those papers in order to cross the border, because they want to go to the US. The part I really like is afterwards when Ilsa goes upstairs, finds him, and this is later on in the film, threatens him with the gun, and that's why I like Humphrey Bogart. He's so smooth, he's so calm, like I don't know, I just find him so cool. Humphrey Bogart in his films, he just like I'm paraphrasing here when he's just like, no, you won't, you're not gonna kill me. So she keeps threatening him, trying to make him scared, trying to be threatening, and ultimately just puts the gun down, just basically admitting that she still loves him. And it goes into a flashback about why she left, talking about she thought her husband was dead at the time. This is all and so this is all happening around the Battle of France, and Ilsa and Rick, just as they're agreeing to leave France, Ilsa comes to know that her husband is alive, so she does go to obviously her sick husband to look after him. And he's left brokenhearted. He doesn't really understand what happened, what went wrong. So he's just been a cynic ever since, and just a depressing person. And that's pretty much the story. At the end, obviously, there's the famous double cross, and he wants to turn in Laszlo so he can, Victor Laszlo, as I was saying, so he can leave Ilsa by plane and go to the US. So obviously he wants to turn him in, as I said, to the police so he can get him out the way and them two can leave together. Obviously it doesn't happen because that's not how these sort of stories play out. And last minute he has a change of heart. Well, we don't know if it's last minute or if he was thinking about it all the time, but he was just making it out as a period. I don't know. He suddenly just turns to her saying, he's like, he gives the official the letters and saying, oh, who should I make it out to? And he's like, Mr. and Mrs. Victor Laszlo.
And the names are Mr. and Mrs. Victor Laszlo.
But why my name, Richard?
Because you're getting on that plane.
I don't understand. What about you?
I'm staying here with him till the plane gets safely away.
And that's when the whole ending scene, which I'll be talking about soon, that starts, and it's just a beautiful scene. I think I don't know if I've mentioned it before. The Casablanca ending and A Clockwork Orange ending. Has got to be probably, and maybe Psycho as well.
Why, she wouldn't even harm a fly.
3 of my favourite endings to a film ever. This film, for its romance, is just amazing. Everything about it. They're both pouring out their emotions in different ways. He's trying to save her and knowing he's never going to be good enough. He's never going to be able to look after the way Laszlo would. Laszlo's, I'm talking about Victor, by the way, just in case anyone's confused. His fight is very important because he's a resistance leader, as I said. and obviously his strength is his wife, as obviously most men, that is the case. So he's saying, if you were to stay here with me or leave with me, 9 times out of 10 we both wind up in a concentration camp. And eventually he makes her leave with Victor, and a police officer tries to stop the plane, and he shoots him dead. And the police come, and him and Renault are walking away together. Renault just shouts out, "Round up the usual suspects," which is an amazing line as well. As part of the film, obviously costumes and looks are very important. I love the costumes in this film. Rick's wearing the white blazer, the black trousers with the bow tie, with the cigarette in his mouth always. It just looks so cool. It's like imagine it's pretty much what James Bond wore in the first one, Dr. No. He wears that, you know, the tuxedo, sort of like a tuxedo. White blazer, as I said, black bow tie, black trousers, and they've got a cigarette in his mouth. It just looks really cool. I also like Ilsa's costume. I love the costume she wears in the marketplace. She's got the hat on, she's got the dress. It looks amazing. I also like the costumes they both had when it come to the last scene in the airport. He's wearing the jacket and he's wearing the hat. She's wearing the hat and a lovely dress. It's everything about that film. I think it was amazing film. I'd watch it again and again. It's amazing. As I said, the "Play It Again, Sam" quote is misquoted all the time.
Play it, Sam. Play as time goes by.
The real line, as I said, is "Play it, Sam," not "Play it again." The lines I love is, "We'll always have Paris."
What about us?
We'll always have Paris.
"Here's looking at you, kid."
No. He's looking at you, kid.
"Louis, I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship."
Louis, I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
And "Round up the usual suspects."
Round up the usual suspects.
Now, these are the most iconic lines in history. Obviously, rightly so. They're so catchy, even though they're so simple. And almost all of them are actually appearing on AFI's, which is the American Film Institute, 100 Years, 100 Movie Quotes. If you look that up, you'll see that I'm right about that. It's great. Humphrey Bogart did an amazing job as Rick. You know, these are the sort of films where you couldn't imagine someone else playing the part. As I said, and obviously Ingrid Bergman, she did amazing as Ilsa as well. I can't say any more good things about this film. It's just really good. The only pity is the Nazis. Well, I guess even if they were prominent, it would completely change the point of the story, I guess. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the Nazis didn't really need to be that important. But that's why some people sort of find the film boring, because they're waiting for some big action, and it's not about that. That's not the sort of story this is. So when people say that, I just get confused. I was like, it doesn't need to be action. That's not what the film's about. But anyway, that's my view and my take on the film. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, comment. I'll leave my email in whatever it's called, the information part. Sorry, I still don't know all these technical parts of the videos. So my email's there if you want to get in touch to talk about all things film. I'm more than happy to respond and have conversations, debates, or whatever. So don't be afraid to get in touch. It's really good to be hearing from people. And yeah, I'll see you guys on the next video.